everyone, and welcome to Toy Review, hosted by yours truly, Ranger Board's asshole himself, Red is Power. But you can call me Sonic Ranger if you like. So, with that introduction out of the way, let's get to today's review. Nicole, what are we reviewing today?
Today's review, Thundercats, Series 1, 4-inch Lino, Tygra, and Cheetara.
Sonic Ranger coming back with another toy review, and today we are taking a look at the brand new Bandai Thundercats 2011 Series 1 4-inch Lino, Tygra, and Cheetara. Now, I will tell you this before this review actually begins, I have updated Cheetara. For those who actually have this figure, you will notice a difference. For those that don't have this figure, I do recommend you do this customized work like I did. But, enough about that. Let's go ahead and get to a few details before this review actually begins with the figures. We're going to look at the package, and since I've only got one still in good condition, we're going to take a look at Cheetara's package. As you can see, the nice Thundercats logo, very nicely updated for today's kind of stuff. The drawing, I was told and informed by somebody on YouTube, I really can't remember your name at the moment, I do apologize, but it was told that the drawings that are on the packages were actually produced by the drawers of the animated series that's premiered on Cartoon Network just a few weeks back. Right, as you can see, I got them in the best poses that I could actually get them in at the moment. I'm not really good at posing, but as you can see, they are very, very posable. And for a good example, and I guess you could say at size comparisons, here is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 2010 White Ranger. So yeah, that's not too bad of a scale, including the fact that Tygra is actually taller than Lino, because in the show, he's actually that scale as well. He's taller than Lino. He's the bigger brother. More size comparisons for those who want to go with the tie-in with any other animal / humanoid creatures. There's only one that I can actually think of at the moment. Let's bring in Sonic the Hedgehog, or should I say Super Sonic. And you know what? Actually, that works very nice. That's actually a pretty good scale compared to the Thundercat characters. So, okay, here's Lino. And like I said, he is very nicely detailed. Very, very awesome sculpt to all these figures. And their head sculptings, they actually look like the show's counterparts. If I can zoom in and show this. If you can actually see it, and hopefully you can, Lino definitely has his cartoon look with his face. Love it! They're just so awesome. And coming from a company that really doesn't like to paint the backs of the figures, well done. Well done. They are doing a good job. We're talking Bandai of America, people. They cheap out a lot on their figures when it comes to painting their backs and accessories and stuff like that, but they are doing a hell of an awesome job. I have really no complaints about this figure. He stands up very nicely, and believe it or not, I have no idea why they did this, but I am very pleased with the way they did it. The Thundercat figures, differing from Power Ranger figures of today, they have a lot more articulation with the 4-inch scale figures, and I have to say, it is nice. It is very nice. First of all, accessories, yes, sort of omens, which is kind of painted. It's nice that they added a little red to the crystal, which is very nice. Even though they didn't paint the eyes, I guess I could do that myself. They left the detail in there to where you can actually see the eyes and you can actually paint it. So, yeah, you can have your little sight beyond sight or something like that, what he says. I think that's what he says. I'm still learning about Thundercats, guys. He also has the gauntlet, I guess you could say, that he uses in the show. It also has a little mini sort of omens that you could actually pull out very carefully. I do have a rubber band around it. It is kind of loose. That's one problem. The gauntlet really does not stay on the figure's hands. It's just made out of a very soft rubber, which is too flexible, so it just slides right off the figure's arm. But here's the little mini sort of omens, I guess you could say, in storage mode. And yeah, you can just slide it right back in there and line it back up, and there you go. So you never really have to take this off with a rubber band, but if you wanted to, you can. Show you. See? Very easily. So yes, I mean, some nice accessories, but really that's it. For accessories, Lion-O just comes with 2 versions of the Sword of Omens and the Gauntlet, and that's it. And now for articulation, but first let me put the light back on Lion-O. Articulation for Lion-O is simply the following. His head is on a ball joint. He can look up a little bit. Actually, he can look up pretty far. Just don't go too far or else you will pop the head off. But you can always pop it back on, so it don't matter. He will look down, same way, very nicely. Side to side, like so, like so. You can look in the angle, like that. It's freaking cool. The only problem with the head articulation would have to be this side because of the shoulder bit right here. Really, you're going to knock his head off of the ball joint doing that. It's just the way that the figure was molded. I mean, you can probably take this off, but I wouldn't because it looks like it's been glued down from what I could tell. So, yes, I mean, some nice articulation to the head. Shoulders are on a ball joint. They go up, whole 360. They go in and out. They bend at the elbows. They rotate at the wrists. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Look at this. Something the Power Ranger figures don't really have. Rotatable. Waist articulation. Nice. It would have been cool if he had like an ab crunch. That would have been cool as well. I know the 6-inch figures do, so we'll get to that when we get to it eventually. This is pretty cool as well. His legs are actually on a ball joint. You can actually see it. A ball joint, which is very cool, so you can get it in a lot of positions. Legs go up, they go back, they go in and out, they swivel at the ball joint, which is freaking awesome. As you can see, the knees are single jointed, but you can get them pretty far. You can. And feet, look at that. Feet articulation at the ankles. The only thing is, it's just the up and down gimmick there. I mean, they really don't pivot left and right. It would have been cool, but you know, this isn't a figure art figure or even a Figma. But still, with this armor bit right here at his waist, it does not hinder the articulation one bit because it's made of a very, very soft PVC plastic, which if you're not careful, you might actually rip. But with the way it's actually designed, I don't think so. So yeah, you can get him pretty much splitting as best as possible like that. And the detail, like I said, it's very nice. It's nice to see figures painted on both the front and the back. So I really have no complaints about Lion-O. So I guess you could say my final grade for Lion-O would have to be none other than a 4.5 out of 5. Not perfect, but really, this is as close as you're going to get. This figure is amazing, and he's definitely a must-have. And so we come to the next figure, which is none other than Tygra, the brother of Lion-O. Well, pretty much I guess you could say the adopted brother or something like that. But still, here's a size comparisons between the two, since at first they were actually bent in different positions. Now you can actually see that Tygra is indeed taller than Lion-O, which is accurate to the show. Very accurate. Love it. Accuracy to the figures is so perfect. This is an amazing figure because not only is his armor cool looking in the show, but also the fact that he has a little bit more articulation than Lion-O, and I will go through it right now. So, removing his accessories, we'll get to those in a moment. Articulation is pretty much the same as Lion-O, except for a few places I'll show you. Head's on a ball joint. It does the up and down, left and right stuff. Shoulders are on a ball joint. They go around a full 360. They go in and out. They bend at the elbows. They rotate at the wrists, both of them. My only issue about the figure is he does not have any waist articulation. I don't know why, but you know, I guess it's because of this belt that you can take off, but I wouldn't. because it is pretty hard to get it back on. Now, here's the difference between him and Lion-O. His legs do have a different bit of articulation, and first of all, it is on a ball joint. It does the same thing as Lion-O's. It swivels, as you can see. It goes up pretty far. It goes back pretty far. It bends at the knee, which is nice. It's single jointed still. But it also swivels at the knee. Lion-O does not do that. And his ankles, they also pivot up and down, but no swivel left and right, which is a shame. But, you know, like I said before, it's not a figure art, it's not a Figma, and it's only 4 inches. This is pretty much as close as you're going to get to G.I. Joe articulation figures, which is nice. So, okay, sitting back for a moment. Oh, let me show the back of him, and as you can see, very nicely painted. Bandai, you didn't disappoint me. Love it. Okay, for accessories, he comes with pretty much what he has in the show. His whip, which only has 2 separate pieces at the front, which the original actually had 3. So yeah, it's painted the actual show color, even though it's supposed to be a little red at the tip and maybe some silver for the handles. But other than that, you know, it's nice. I mean, it moves around like a whip. Though it's very, very rubbery, it's, I think, a little too solid rubber. I mean, it does wobble around a bit, but it doesn't really stay flat down. It would have been nice if it did, like if it were string, but it probably would have ripped a lot easier if it was string. So it's nice that it has a little bit of flexibility to it, but it doesn't stay in place. It always just goes back to the way it was. So, you know, you get what you pay for. And, you know, for $8.99, I'm not complaining. He also comes with his blaster from the show that he got from one of the lizards in the 1 hour series premiere. It's very nicely detailed as well. Even, well, yeah, you can actually see it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. It's a very nice assembly. It also fits in his little pocket holster right here, which if you actually work around it a little bit, you can get it to go in all the way, like so. And it looks pretty nice on him. It's not too big or anything like that. Very nicely scaled weapons with these figures. Definitely not 5 inches. They actually fit in with a 4-inch scale action figure, which is a plus for Bandai. They are doing so freaking awesome. I love Tygra. And last but not least, we also have the gorgeous feminine figure herself, which is none other than Cheetara, which is pretty cool, but she does have her problems. For one, her articulation is definitely hindered due to the reason of the sculpting. And one thing is, I guess it's been a while since they've actually done this. I'm talking about Bandai. She really has not that much leg articulation. I mean, she cannot split her legs unless, of course, you do the up position like that. But we'll get to it in a moment. We'll get to the articulation. Let's take a look at her weapon first. Her weapon is that bow she has in the show, which is nice. But the only way that you can actually get a storage position for the weapon is on the back of her. You cannot remove that as far as I know, but that's it right there, where it's in storage, and when she pulls it out in the show and it extends, you got that as well. It's very soft rubber, so it will bend, but if you take a blow dryer to it, you might do yourself a little good, but then again, it's still a little bent. And I've blown dried this about 7 times now, and it still looks like this. So, alright, for her Thunderlings thing, the magnet that's supposed to activate features with the Thunder Tanks and any other vehicles that the 4-inch figures come with, let me go ahead and pop her head off, because if you notice, for those who actually have this figure, I have done some major improvements. Yeah, I'm not complaining. I think I did a hell of an awesome job. I'd like to see you guys actually do better. I mean, it never fails to I mean, it really does never fail. Somebody will outdo me eventually. But I have to admit that this is pretty good work so far. Here's her head sculpt. I don't know if you can actually see that. You can kind of see it. It's very show accurate. All the figures are very show accurate. And now here's the difference in articulation, of course, since I've done some different features. She actually has head articulation. She can now move left and right, up and down, a little bit more than what your figure can actually do, which is just stay in one place. Articulation, like I said, head's on a, not a ball joint, but it's close to it. Shoulders, they do go around full 360 if you actually work around the hair, which is a very hard plastic, not PVC, which would have been better. They go in and out. They rotate at the bicep, both of them. They bend at the elbows. Wrists do not rotate. So, yeah, I guess they're going back to the original female Power Ranger articulation. No waist articulation. Her legs, they do not go in and out, but they do go up and down, and you can actually rotate them at the thighs to get them in a better position. They rotate at the bottom of the thigh. See, there's articulation right there, right there. There's articulation at the knees, and that's it. Cut it off her feet because they were actually done wrong if you think about it. She could not stand for anything. Nothing. No thumbtacks, no glue, no bubble gum to the feet. Nothing would keep her standing. Because of the way her feet were actually designed, they were sticking out in the air. So she kept tilting over. But after I cut them off and flipped them around, she actually stands perfectly now, which is awesome. So, yeah, I mean, this figure is great. They're all great, and I do recommend them. You will not be disappointed with these figures, but except for Cheetara. But I promise you guys, if you do try my idea, you will love this figure afterwards. I do have plans on trying to give her some more leg articulation, maybe even her wrists, get them to rotate at the hands. That would be nice, but we'll see as time goes on. But for now, I really have to end this review, guys. These figures are all 4.5 out of 5s. They are just so awesome. If you don't pick them up, then why are you even watching this video, okay? If you really want to experience these awesome Thundercat figures, buy them. So, awesome figures, buy them, review them. Love to see your reviews about these figures, guys. And actually, I'd like to see your opinions on what you think about the Thundercat figures and the cartoon series thus far. We have a long adventure ahead of us, and I'm pretty sure there will be more figures, more Thundercat repaints, and also more villains to come with vehicles and even the playset. I'm not so sure if I'm going to get the playset, but I guess it all depends on demand. If you guys want me to review it, well, you know, just let me know, and I'll see what I can do. But that's it, guys. That is the end review for the 4-inch Thundercat figures by Bandai, which has definitely got the phrase back, action satisfaction, because I am satisfied with these figures. Very awesome figures. Won't regret your decision to buy them. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please leave a comment, rate, or subscribe to Red is Power videos on YouTube. And until the next toy review, guys, which will also be the return of some Power Rangers, just not of our brand. This is Red is Power / Sonic Ranger signing out. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.